This podcast was recorded on a Wabakal and Yugambeh land. Hi, I'm Kurt Fernley, Paralympian.
And I'm Paralympian Alice Saddlejack.
And this is You Little Ripper, the place that we celebrate all things parasport. And it is under 200 days to go till everybody's favourite sporting event, the Paralympic Games in Paris, which You Little Ripper would be broadcasting live. That's it, live from Paris. Alice Saddlejack, 200 days to go. Is this another kind of reminder that time just keeps ticking?
It's getting closer and closer. And, you know, leading up to the games, I've seen a lot of people over in Paris. We've just had, the games delivery team go over there for the final check to see if the village and everything is going under control. I had a sneak peek at the wheelchair rugby venue. The beautiful Eiffel Tower in the background. Holy moly, cannot wait to be competing for gold with that as our backdrop. 200 days to go. I say I wanted to come around quicker, but I don't know if
It is a really weird period of time where you kind of just want it to go because you're feeling so anxious that this thing that you've kind of trained for 4 years is going to take place. You can see it around the corner. But a lot of the times you kind of need every one of those 200 days because you've got to refine, you've got to continue to build the strength, you've got to continue to work on, those team plans. How do you feel this 200-day is going to be spent from yours and the Steelers, your team, your wheelchair rugby team's perspective?
Yeah, so we had a camp last week where we just refined a few team aspects, a lot of team play. We competed in a friendly versus New Zealand before we head over to New Zealand in a couple of weeks to actually qualify. So we're not there yet. So I think once we qualify and we've got that secured, our spot secured for Paris, then we're going to start reflecting and refining. So
I can't wait to actually try and sneak out and watch the Steelers play during Paris in 2024. I'm really excited to be on the ground, Ella. I've never taken my family across. They've never really experienced the Paralympic Games, and I've never really experienced a Paralympic Games outside of my sport as well. So I can't wait to see you guys and kind of get a glimpse of the rest of the Paralympic family from the other side of the fence. Unless you can sneak me in on your side of the fence.
Oh, I can try. I have been on the other side of the fence at the Rio Games. I was a spectator and I watched the rollers compete, and it just was another experience altogether. You just soaked up the atmosphere. You got to have fun. You didn't have to strap up and compete. And so I think you're really going to enjoy Paris as a, spectator with your family and spend that quality time.
Well, on to what's happened over the last couple of weeks in the Paralympic world. Alice Saddlejack, what's your You Little Ripper moment?
Oh, this one is a big one. So this year's London Marathon will take place on Sunday, 21st of April. And guess what, Kurt? You might want to get back into the chair for this one. Equal pay for winners. So the wheelchair racers will receive the same payment as the able-bodied runners. So they will receive $83,000 for coming first. So put your gloves back on, Kurt.
Put me on the field, coach. Put me on the field. I won London Marathon a couple of times in the middle of my career. I think the first time got 2 or 3 second places, and it's the whole podium that's getting equal prize money with the non-disabled runners. I think I got my first second place. If I'm not wrong, it was around $2,000 that I received. And I think for my last win, which is only 10 years ago, it was maybe at a max, it would have been 10,000 that translated back into 10,000 Aussie dollars. So to see the growth of the Paralympic sport, I just think that it's so amazing. And yes, I've started to, I don't know, what is it called? I've bought the light and easy, so I'm starting to get back in that race chair. And I think at the ripe old age of 44, it's time to make a comeback. It also will get me. I've got 4 beautiful children and 2 twins that are quite rowdy at home. So it sounds actually like a bit of a break. But But it just shows it does go up because the more minutes that we have on TV, the more eyeballs that the wheelchair racing kind of connects to, the more value it is to those that are settling the sponsorship dollars. And we've seen the growth of wheelchair racing, but we have also seen the growth of all sports within the Paralympic family. And I can't wait to see them grow for the next 6 months in Australia. And maybe we can start hearing about more of this parity between Paralympic and our non-disabled, our Olympic family and friends as well. My new little ripper moment goes to Benny. The Paralympic movement is in his soul. Tuthope. He is one of the most beautiful young men in the Paralympic family. He has picked up 2 silver medals in his opening 2 races at the Paris Snowball World Cup at Landgraaf in the Netherlands. And he backed up with 2 more silver at the LL2 Snowball Cross in Germany. The guy is on fire. Bronze medalist from Beijing. Was it Beijing? Was that the last Paralympic Games? Yes, bronze medalist from Beijing, where he did remarkably for Australia. Seeing us get a medal in the winter program is always fun. It's always one that gets the whole Paralympic family excited. And like I said, Benny Tuthope, he has the Paralympic movement in his soul. We also had an amazing performance from Georgia Gnu and her guide, Ethan Jackson. They won bronze in the slalom at the Para-Alpine World Cup as well. And that is Georgia's first World Cup medal. So looking promising for our Paralympic winter family.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're going to see many more medals come out of Georgia in the coming years, especially leading into Milan Cortino in a few years.
Well, again, it's one of the listeners' favourite part of this show is not just running over results, but talking to athletes who are on the ground, who are making a difference in the day-to-day, runnings of the Paralympic movement. Now, this guy is one of the legends, one of the real personalities in the Paralympic movement. He is the great White Tiger, the athletics silver medalist at the Paralympic Games, friend to all. Welcome to the show, Chad, the great man, Perris.
Oh, thanks very much for having me, Kurt. It's great to be here.
Chaddy, who was your favourite roommate in a Paralympic Games village, and why was it?
Don't think it was you, Kurt.
You bastard.
No, I'm joking.
No, you're definitely. We got you on here because of your raw honesty, Chatty.
Yeah, we had a good time in Rio. We had young Jesse White was in our room at that time as well. He was great fun. Just another name that springs to mind. Great couple of roommates. Great couple of roommates there.
How's the form, mate? We're under 200 days to go to Paris in 24. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm in great shape right now. I've knocked off a qualifier for Paris, which is really nice and gives me a little bit of time to go back and train now. And we've got a World Championships in Kobe in Japan in May. So I've got a little bit of focus on that, but the main focus obviously is on Paris on September 1st, which will be competition day.
And you mentioned you've got your world champs coming up in Japan. Is that a qualifying spot? And excuse my ignorance for athletics, but how are you going to qualify for Paris?
So for athletics, we've got a system that Athletics Australia lays out for us. So you've got World Para Athletics sets the minimum entry standards, then Athletics Australia has their own standards, which you'll find in a lot of sports in Australia will do that. So the minimum entry standard that World Para Athletics set is 11.50, I think, for 100 metres in the T13 classification. But Athletics Australia has A and B qualifying marks. A qualifier for me is 10.70 and the B quali is 10.90. So managed to go 10.69 about a month ago now, and that was really good to tick that off, and that sort of gets the qualifying done along with quite a few Bs that I have, B qualifiers that I have under my belt as well. So as far as Kobe World Champs is concerned, it's I've already qualified quite a spot for Australia. So athletes at World Championships last year in Paris, which were in Paris in 2023, if you finish top 4, you're able to qualify a spot for Australia, not a personal spot for yourself, but just a quota spot for the country. So we've done that. I've done that. I can't earn another quota spot for Australia at these World Championships, but just another chance to go out, qualify and run at a major event, which I'm really excited for, as well as obviously Paris later on in the year.
Yeah, that's awesome. You mentioned you run at 11 seconds for 100 meters. We did wheelchair rugby testing the other week. We have 20-meter testing, and I think I pushed that in maybe like 8 seconds. So I think we've got a bit of competition, Chad.
I was actually out on the I was out doing a bit of wheelchair basketball this morning out at Parliament House, which was a lot of fun. So
fun.
I was having a crack there, which is good. And I was told the sort of benchmark is that 20-meter sprint. So I sort of had a look back and forward, and I think I'll be getting towed up in the wheelchair a fair bit over that speed. So
I reckon we should put you up against Riley, get you running that. We'll get the gates out and we'll set that up.
That'll be some good fun. I'll get around that, absolutely.
Mate, what's made the difference? You're running 10.6, did you say?
Yeah, 10.65 is my best. I ran it twice in the same day at ACT Championships in January 23, so last year. And at the age of 30, I think running PBs is not something that's that usual in sprints in athletics. But I've just been able to get a good little extra boost along the way.
What has made that difference? Where did the boost come from?
Well, I made a few changes post Tokyo, so we got to a point where like I was, I did change coaches post Tokyo, so I'm now training with Matt Beckenham here in Canberra still. So I didn't change states or locations or anything like that, but I think the change in coaches is a bit like a breath of fresh air, really. Like I got to a stage where I was really questioning whether I wanted to be in the sport anymore and whether I was questioning retirement. So I think the two things that were going through my mind was retirement or change coaches, and I went with the latter, thankfully, and here we are, just running faster and a breath of fresh air. I've got a lot of confidence in myself now. I think a lot of people in the fallout of that, making that decision to change coaches, could see that I was not in a good place in the lead up to Tokyo and in the years leading up to that. And there was a lot of people that could see that I wasn't enjoying my athletics. And I've had so many people approach me now and tell me the opposite and say, like, you can tell that you're loving it. You're a different person. You're really enthusiastic out there. You're enjoying yourself, where previously it was just rocking up to a job, like there's so many people you say, like, I want to have a career where I'm at work and enjoying what I do and getting out there and really having a good time when I'm at work. And I just wasn't doing that. It was a chore to go to training every day. It was a chore to go to the gym. It was a chore to jump in the pool, and I just didn't want to be there. And now it's the complete opposite. I love rocking up. Love the atmosphere that Matty has in our training squad. He leads the group really well. It's a testament to him and the skills that he has as a coach and as a human being and as a leader of people as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. And how would that new coach and that new environment challenge you? Because I've been there before. Instead of changing coaches, I changed sports, but don't recommend doing that. But how does that still drive you? Because you still want to have that. You obviously have a lot of intrinsic motivation. So how does that environment set the scene for you to want to keep chasing that goal?
I've had 10 years in the sport now, and I've been to quite a few major championships and coming up on hopefully my third Paralympic Games, and you learn so much along the way. And I'm not going to discount anything that I learnt in the past with my previous coach, and I learned so much in that journey. And I don't think I'm not going to be the athlete now that I am without having gone through that time. And but I think that motivating myself to keep going and just being able to get out on the track and spend more time with people as well in the team. It's not something I did in the past. Like in the past, I was very sort of with just myself and the 2 or 3 other people that I trained with, and I wasn't really allowed to go and spend time with a lot of other people. And the World Championships in Paris just gone, I spent so much time with other people on the team that I'd been on multiple teams with previously that I'd never really spent time with, and got to know a lot of the people that I was away with, and spend that journey with a lot of those people. And when I got to the competition, it was just like another day out there, and just having a good time with the people at the warm up track, in the post event, whatever it may be. So yeah, we just sort of had a great time.
What impact do you reckon the Paralympic movement has had on your life, Chad?
Oh, it's had a really, really profound impact. I think I went from playing Aussie rules football in a fifth grade side, with had a lot of good times with the guys that I was playing with there. But I was in a pretty bad spot where I was drinking alcohol every weekend and just partying and all that sort of thing, and didn't really have a really strong purpose in life. And I think when I found athletics, it gave me a lot of structure and a lot of discipline, and helped me through some pretty tough years, and moved to Canberra and basically started a whole new life, which I look back on now, and it's been an incredible journey. And now being able to see young athletes with a disability, and young kids with albinism in particular as well, that reach out to me and speak to me and come out and watch me race, like knowing that I can have that impact on young people as well now, to be able to motivate them to be able to go forward in their sport. I think that's an incredible thing that I can do now, and it's not something that I didn't have anybody to look up to when I was younger, but it's so great that there's young athletes out there that can look up to me. And you guys have the same thing, I guess. Like you'd have people reaching out to you, telling you the same thing. Like, I didn't know that the sport was available until I saw you on the TV, like that sort of thing. And I think we get to a point where, like, I look back at a championships, and you look through your messages from families, parents, children with albinism or any disability really, that are seeing what I do and want to get into athletics or parasport in general. I think it's really cool.
It's unreal. I mean, it's why we do what we do, hey?
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, you guys have the same thing. We get out there and we're just competing in our sport, but other people, and it's just a normal, not a normal day, but it's just it's another day where you're having a good time racing, training, competing, and people see that and want to be a part of it.
Chad, is it true that you released a video the other day and somebody made some wild accusations that you were actually Joe Biden? And talk us through, when you put a video up online and it gets how many hits so far?
I think we're at 10.2 mil.
10.2 million views. I can't even guess how many comments that is. But how wild is that? And also that the reason, one of the reasons why it took off is that because it looks like the US grabbed hold of this thing where they've called you Joe, and that could be like, you could take that two ways. One is you could be like bugger you, right? Like you could, because is this a, or you could roll with it and just kind of see where it goes. But talk us through that. It just seems so wild.
It's a bit of a whirlwind, actually. Like it's very funny. Like I was laying in bed one night and I was like, oh, there's a few comments rolling through on this video, and I think we're at about 200,000, and I was like 200,000 views, and which was a lot. And I sort of just went to bed and then woke up the next morning and we were over 500K, and then it got to 1 million, and like my coach and at the training squad were watching it, and I think 500,000 of the views have been from about 6 different people in my little close circle of friends that have been watching it over and over to try to see how many things it's got. But I think the comments are funny. They're just great, and it's people go in there and people are just taking the mickey a little bit and just enjoy. And the Joe Biden thing was quite funny. I think there'll be a fancy dress party. I rock up with the Secret Service detail at some point, I think, as well. So yeah, it's good fun, and I kind of just have to enjoy it, really.
I haven't seen the video. Can you describe what the video is?
It's literally I think it's a 15-second clip of me racing. It's a close up video of me racing, just panning from start to finish. And that was when I ran my A qualifying mark, so it was a good fast run. But it's just blown up and it's been extremely popular. So a lot of comments, a lot of new followers. I think I've gone from about 2,000 to over 10,000 now in the last 3 weeks. So, and it's a lot of track and field. It's been really, really fun to see it grow from that, and it's amazing what a video like that can do. And it's not just people commenting, taking the mickey out of me. It's more as well, like there's a lot of athletics people just like wanting to know what the time was and asking questions about disability. And because I said it's a Paralympic A qualifier, so there's people asking like, what's your disability? How do you qualify for the Paralympics? Like, how, like, there's nothing wrong with him, sort of thing. And that's when I think it's a bit more of an education piece, when you can say to people, like, there are a lot of disabilities at the Paralympics that aren't visible, that and when I tell people that I'm blind, everyone just clicks and it goes, oh, of course, like that makes a lot of sense. But then again, people think of somebody that's blind to be running with a guide runner or that can't see completely, whereas I can still see a little bit, but I can still see pretty much bugger all. So and see enough to run down a track by myself, and being able to educate people on that and be able to have small little conversations along the way through the comment sections with people has been fun.
That's so funny. I'm going to definitely get off this video after we've finished, and I'm going to go and have a look, and I might throw you a comment as well. So you have 10.1 mil.
Very good. Yeah, you can feel free to watch it 3 or 4 times. Every little bit helps.
Okay, I'll just keep refreshing.
Mate, a lot of people have superstitions or processes that they go through before they take that first step on the event. What goes through your mind? What do you tell yourself when you're about to go to the start line? They've set on your marks. You're in Paris in less than 200 days from now. What's your process from that point?
Oh, I think like it's just knowing that the job's been done and the work's all been done, and you're just executing on the day. And I always get so nervous before I race, and like a warm up, and even a final run through, like a practice start on the track, like my legs are like jelly and it never feels good. But I always run fast when I have those feelings. So I tell myself that, and I know that I'll run well. It's just I get that nervous energy, and I think once the starter calls on your marks, that's when everything slows down, and you feel calm because you've done it so many times before in the training track and in competitions back home here and wherever it may be. But so I think it's more managing before that on your marks call. When I'm doing my practice start, I walk back, I tie my shoes, and I always go down and tie one shoe, if not both. And the officials aren't usually too happy with it because it's wasting time and the TV's ready to go and things like that. So, but I like it sort of slows down my process a little bit, and lets me get my equipment right. Like, you want your shoes to be tight, so I do that and roll back, and then we're ready to go.
Well, Chad, the White Tiger Perris, we cannot wait to see you compete over in Paris. Watch you tie your shoelaces up and go for that gold. We just want to wish you the best, and thank you for jumping on and saying hello to us. We can't wait to follow your journey through to Paris.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks very much for having me. I can't wait to be out there. It's going to be so good. Going to be a massive crowd. Really looking forward to being out there and sharing the journey with you guys and all the listeners and viewers out there. It's going to be so good. So yeah, Ella, Kurt, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Chad Perris, we're going to have you back on before Paris. I think we actually are going to have you host an episode.
Awesome. Thanks very much, Kurt.
I cannot wait to see Chad race over in Paris. I'm really excited to see him go for gold. In other news, we love it when our listeners get in touch. Michaela sent us an email asking us to update everybody on the para-equestrian team who have been busy competing. So Sarah Sherwood, who, despite recovering from a broken ankle, is in great form, finishing first at the recent competition. She was followed by Kyle Chapman in the team test and Andrew Driffield in the individual test.
Go you para equestrian team. We love your work. And thank you to Michaela for getting in touch. We wanted to take a moment to pay tribute to Matty Robinson. We lost him 10 years ago in a horrible accident. The establishment of the Matthew Robinson Scholarship, a collaboration between the Robinson family, Disabled Winter Sports Australia and Paralympics Australia, has helped emerging para-athletes with the cost involved in winter sport, such as travel, equipment, training camps, and coaching. If you have the time, if you have the resources, it'd be great if you can drop a donation into the Matthew Robinson Scholarship. A legend of a guy and a big loss to our family. Now, thank you for listening to our podcast. We love all things parasport and we want to share how amazing it is with the rest of the world. We need your help to do that.
We need you to tell all of your friends about what we're doing, and then you must leave us a review.
A nice review. We'll be back with more interviews with your favourite athletes, so make sure you've followed You Little Ripper on social media and wherever you get your podcasts. Leave a comment.
We'd like to say a big thank you to Toyota for supporting this episode of You Little Ripper. Oh, what a feeling. Thanks, Toyota.
Thanks, Toyota.